Welcome back to Common Command, your YouTube hub for all things EDH and so much more. This episode is brought to you by viewers like you. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel with bell notifications on so you don't miss out on any uploads. You can also support us by visiting our TCG Player affiliate link when purchasing any product off the site. Lastly, you can support us directly over on Patreon to help fund future projects as you cash in on some amazing benefits. If you'd like to interact with the Common Command team, follow the link in the description to join our brand new Discord server. Now enjoy the rest of the video. Nothing quite brings me back to my MTG roots like casting 6, 7, and 8 CMC creatures. That's why my first deck was Joda, so I could happily play my one spell a turn that would inevitably get destroyed by my next. But Imoti Celebrant of Bounty helps solve some of these problems. For 3 generic and Simic, we get a 3/1 legendary Naga Druid that gives spells we cast with CMC 6 or greater Cascade. Instead of casting one big Timmy spell that does nothing for us, Imoti lets those spells cash in on some value as soon as we play them. But if we're playing big CMC, then we have to commit all the way, and that's why we've paired Imoti with the wonderful companion of Keruga the Macrosage. This Dino Hippo is essentially a second commander that we can bring to our hand from outside the game for 3 mana. We can then cast it for 5 and draw a card for each other permanent with CMC 3 or greater. Now let's dive into our Simic deck and find out exactly how it's the best color pairing, even when everything in our deck is 3 CMC or greater. For starters, we need ramp and we need it bad. We've got Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Harrow, and Wood Elves to search us up some lands on turn 3, which is the earliest we can play a spell. Azusa, Lost but Seeking, and Dryad of Illusion Grove are also 3 drops, but they let us play extra lands. Migration Path is another good ramp card because of its cycling ability, which allows us to draw a card before turn 3. To finish up on our ramp, we've got Arithmethy's Slumbering Isle, Skyshroud Claim, Growing Rights of Itlimoc, Nissa Who Shakes the World, and Traverse the Outlands. There are other big ramp spells in the deck, but these are the ones we'll be playing early on to get to all the Timmy goodness. But card draw is just as good as ramp, and we've got an ample supply of both. Keruga is the first easy target for card draw since we'll have access to it when we need it, but we're also running Kiora Behemoth Beckoner, Elemental Bond, and Garruk's Uprising as our 3 CMC draw spells. But the draw continues with Soul of the Harvest, Rashmi Eternity's Crafter, Greater Good, Guardian Project, The Great Hinge, Rishkar's Expertise, Prime Speaker Zagana, and Consecrated Sphinx. All of our card draw is heavily creature related because the whole premise of the deck is to ramp into Thicc creatures. Each creature we will play will gain us more value than it should. Let's also take a look at our commander, because its ability is definitely an advantage over card draw. We get to cast things for free when playing 6 CMC or greater creatures. But there's just one last category to go over before we get to the heavy creatures, and that's our setup. Thicc the Sudden Storm will reduce our larger spells by 1, while Omniscience will straight up let us cast things for free. Mana Reflection will get us double mana, and Thunderous Snapper will draw us a card for casting 5 CMC or greater spells. Galanra Collar of Wirewood will also draw us a card for casting big spells if we use the green mana from it. Court of Bounty will turn us into the Monarch and let us drop lands and creatures on our upkeep. Last up, we have Vivian Monster's Advocate. Its static ability lets us cast creatures from the top of our library, while its down tick has an ability similar to our commander. It says, when you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser converted mana cost, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. This is super strong as we can search out any creature we may need to help in whatever situation we are in. But let's now take a look at those creatures that we have running in the deck. Rampaging Ballots and Avenger of Zendikar are great hits that will build our board state with smaller friends as we continue to play lands. Sphinx of the Second Sun is a fantastic new card that'll get us a whole untap and draw to continue to pump out big creatures. Nyxbloom Ancient triples our mana, which is always nice, while End-Raze Forerunners will help us close out games once we get a decent board state. Meteor Golem and Terastodon will let us remove any unwanted permanents, while Primeval Protector can come out early because of its built-in mana reduction. Kodama of the East Tree will let us cheat permanents into play, and Dawnglade Regent is another way to become the Monarch, which also protects our board with hexproof. Galta Primal Hunger is another reduced fatty that loves swinging out, while Nezahal Primal Tide rewards us with cards when our opponents play non-creature spells. Asai Tyrant of Gyre Strait and Tatioba Benedict Druid will also draw us cards from lands entering the battlefield, and Apex Devastator is just a giant 5-headed value creature that'll let us cascade 4 times. Now we've also got some non-creature big spells that are just as great. Zavala Stampede is a great way to cheat permanents into play that perfectly fits the theme of the deck. Mind's Desire is another fun way to cast random spells for free, as it pulls random cards from our deck and it has Storm. Boundless Realms is the instant double up on the amount of lands we have, and Sublime Epiphany is a super strong and versatile instant. But now that we got the juicy part of the deck out of the way, let's talk about Recursion, because it's unlikely our board will go unanswered. Praetor's Council will get us back every card from our graveyard and gives us no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Seeds of Renewal can get us back 2 cards and can cost as low as 4 mana, yet still trigger a commander's ability. Seasons Past is another great recursion card, but we will have to choose between CMC cost. Crystal Shard and Devastation Tide are other ways to recash in on value. By bouncing our board, we can recast spells to double down on any cast or ETB triggers. But sometimes playing spells just isn't enough. It's possible that our opponents can outvalue us, so we made sure to include Beast Within, Corrosive Grip, and Force of Vigor. Even Rewind, Capsize, and Spell Swindle get the job done. But with that, the deck is complete. If you'd like to see a complete list of the deck, head to the description and click on the TCG player link that'll showcase all 101 cards including lands. Don't let the restriction of Keruga scare you from running it as your companion. It has a powerful ETB effect, and Simic is more than strong enough to deal with it. Let me know your thoughts on the deck in the comment section below, and remember, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to Common Command for more EDH content.